Onaga's army, Noob Saibot foreshadowing, and possibly a no cameo game mode. These are things you missed in the recent Mortal Kombat trailer. So right off the bat, we get a solo shot of Scorpion, we get Kitana and Goro together, which looks like a cameo game mode. Then we get a solo mode of Kenshi only. Realize there's no cameos behind Kenshi and Scorpion, but there are cameos behind Raiden in the scene, and Johnny Cage also has no cameos behind them. So I'm thinking to myself, is this going to be a game mode that has no cameos in it? And it's not like these cameos are cut out the picture, like there's a certain angle and you can't see them. No, like you would be able to see them like how you saw Kung Lao behind Raiden. But for some reason, in these shots alone of Scorpion, Johnny Cage, Kenshi, and Mileena, there were no cameos behind them. So it got me thinking, are there going to be game modes where there are no cameos whatsoever? That was one thing that had a lot of people worried in the very beginning when we heard about cameo fighters. Everyone immediately started to worry that cameos were going to be implemented into every single game mode. It looks like from this Combat Cast intro, there might be game modes where there's no cameos at all. In this next scene, we see Kitana and Goro, but behind Kitana, we can see a painting of Sindel and King Jared. Maybe this could imply that King Jared will have a more prominent role in Mortal Kombat 1's story, or it could just be an Easter egg for this stage alone. I'm not too sure. Finally, we get to see the new design of Mileena's mouth. Now, this is very interesting to see. It looks like a little bit mix of like Predator and the dog from Blade, and it got me thinking, are all Tarkatans gonna have this design for their mouth, or is it only gonna be Mileena? Hopping over to the official Lin Kuei trailer, there was a lot of crazy stuff in that trailer, but the first thing to point out is Onaga's army. In this scene alone, where Scorpion is fighting some undead army, there's a lot of questions that rise up. The first one being, whose army is this? We all know from the previous Mortal Kombat games. I'm talking about old Mortal Kombat games, all the way from Mortal Kombat Deception. Who had an undead army? Onaga. So is this going to be the next big bad main villain in Mortal Kombat 1? Is it going to be Onaga? Now, the next thing to point out here, it looks like there's some sort of general sitting on a horse. Could this be General Shao? I'm not going to say like this is General Shao. I have no idea. I don't even know if this is going to be Onaga's army, but it looks like it could be General Shao, maybe Reiko, could be nobody at all, could just be some random general for that army. The next scene shows a little bit of foreshadowing for Bi-Han and Noob Saibot. Before I move on, leave a comment. Do you think this is Onaga's army? Also, make sure to join the Discord, link is in the description.
We settle for defending Earthrealm when we could help lead it.
It seems to me that there's going to be a lot of friction in this story between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, since they are brothers. I know there's been a lot of theories that Sub-Zero, aka Bi-Han, is going to kill their dad, who is the Grand Master. Maybe he becomes evil, he sides with Shang Tsung, it's been hinted at in the intros, and then later on, maybe he becomes Noob Saibot. But a really cool thing to note here is Scorpion's new cameo appearance. We get to see one of the moves that Scorpion has is a callback to his MK9 overhead. Another crazy thing, I wasn't even expecting this whatsoever in the trailer, or even a move for Scorpion as a cameo, is that he can literally pull you back, and it looks like it has armor to it. Then of course, how can you forget the guy that stole the show, stole the whole trailer? We finally got Human Smoke back. And I'm loving the design. I know people were kind of going at it with his hair and his mask, but I honestly like his look. Of course, I would love to see that long hair kind of return, maybe in one of his other skins. We get this incredible gameplay of Smoke, and then I was so thrilled when I saw Cyrex. Oh my gosh, I am super excited that Cyrex and Sector are in the game. Now, if this next scene doesn't scream Noob Saibot foreshadowing, I don't know what will.
We will achieve greatness.
I mean, the way Bi-Han says that line sounds just like Noob Saibot. When I heard it, I was like, yeah, he's definitely going to turn evil. He's going to join Shang Tsung or Onaga's army or whatever. He's going to turn into Noob Saibot. It just seems like that sounds just like Noob Saibot. One thing I noticed in this next scene was the armor we see on, I guess, the villains of this story. Looks a lot like Reiko's armor. We also saw Goro has the exact same armor on there. And listen to this next slide because I'm trying to figure out who this is.
The Lin Kuei. We have been expecting you.
And it sounds a lot like Geras. I'd be surprised if Geras makes a return in Mortal Kombat 1, but it really sounds like him. Then, of course, we get some Kung Lao gameplay, but it's like, nah, sorry, Kung Lao, we're just gonna use you to beat the absolute crap out of you. We're gonna show Sector in here. I love how Sector and Bi-Han were teamed up together. Again, kind of foreshadowing that Bi-Han turns evil, because we all know Sector is kind of the evil one out of Sector and Cyrex. So it's very interesting to see them team up together. Then we get the awesome first look at Rain. I was super surprised that they showed Cyrex, Sector, Smoke, and Rain all in one trailer. It's really cool to see Rain's new design. It looks like his gameplay mechanics are very different from everyone else that we've seen so far. It looks like he doesn't punch you. It looks like all of his hits are from the water, which is really cool to see. Then we get to see some awesome Scorpion gameplay, and this dude has damage. Like during the combat cast, they were showing some Scorpion combos. Oh my gosh. It's really cool to see that you're going to be able to throw the spear while you're doing an air juggle combo, and then also throw the spear again while you land on the ground. Then one thing that totally surprised me was seeing Frost as a cameo. So I'm like, okay, wow. So I didn't think that Frost was going to be a cameo or just playable at all in this game. But if they're throwing Frost in here, this makes me think there's going to be a lot of other characters that we haven't seen in a very long time that are going to be in this game. And then finally, we have the classic Scorpion fatality, which is so great to see that all the cameos are going to have their classic fatalities as well as their classic skins. But let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Onaga is going to be the main villain of Mortal Kombat? Who's that one voice line? Is that Geras or is that somebody else?